Well, December the 7th, where I was living in Pennsylvania, was a very mild day. And I was out pedaling around on my bicycle. And I heard somebody's radio, it blast out over the street saying, Pearl Harbor's been bombed. Well, I can remember a couple of years before the War of the Worlds was put on, and I thought this was another gimmick. So I rode a couple more blocks, and people were standing out on the streets, and everything. We're at war, we're at war. I still couldn't believe them. So finally I turned around and headed back for home, and there was a newspaper truck coming down the street, and a newspaper boy jumped out. He says, Wextra, Wextra, read all about it. Japan attacks Pearl Harbor. That opened my eyes, and I started thinking, where in the Sam Hill is Pearl Harbor? Good golly, Ned. I never heard tell of such a place. And I was pretty good at geography. And so I went home. And my mother and father had the radio on, and then I found out Pearl Harbor was one of our territories. And some of the older boys, I was only 15, but some of the older boys had gone over there and was on board ships. Now, to my knowledge, I don't know what happened to all of them, but I know a few of them were killed. And that kind of got me mad, in a way. And I wanted to get out there, but I was only 15. So I found out that I could get over there if I was 17. So I made a pact with my mother. I said, if I go to school and complete the next 2 grades, will you sign for me? She said, if that's what you want, I'll do it. See, I was the only son. I was the last twig on the Scott tree. So I went and I completed the 10th grade, and I completed this 11th grade, and I even part-time, I'd go from the school in the evening over to a foundry, and I worked on equipment for the ships because I was studying to be a machinist. When I finished my 11th year, I said, Mom, you're not going to stay for 12? I said, I'll finish that when I come back. I said, and that's a promise. She said, all right. I went down to the recruitment guy, and he gave me a slip of paper, and I went back and I got my mother to sign it and notarized and everything. And I went down, and he said, what do you want? I said, I want Navy. I never had any kinfolk that went in the Navy. Matter of fact, I never had any kinfolk, direct kinfolk, that ever went anywhere. So in the Navy I went.